to another scene for the Living World of Darkness Changeling New Hope venue. In this scene, we have our young Gwydion squire who has invited some of Concordia's firebrands to a special meeting. So, where's this meeting taking place?
Well, he had Eniern had invited the firebrands, should they wish it, to meet at the Crooked Feather,
Okay.
to give them a place to sort of centralize, should they need it. That wasn't associated with any particular baron, as well as he started inviting any changeling that wished to join him to afford the firebrands a measure of protection while they moved around the city of Apples, with the Thalian conflict rising to declared war. He thought it would be best, especially the fact that with as such a precious thing as the balefire that they are carrying, or the representation of the balefire that they are carrying, that is the balefire of Taranar, correct?
Right, right. And like I think as you're familiar, the Bellfire goes out from the High King's freehold all throughout Concordia. It's considered bad luck for the Bellfire not to make it before Embolic, which is the next holiday that occurs somewhere around the 3rd of February. So firebrands race all across the kingdom with this fire from Taranar to rekindle the Bellfires of their own keeps from far away. But like the morning of this event, the firebrands from Her Majesty Queen Erin from the Kingdom of Pacifica will definitely send their thanks and will agree to meet with you. The Naka representative from the Kingdom of Grass, which is a neighbor of the Kingdom of Apples, regretfully declines a meeting. And then there are some other messages that you don't get, like there's no positive or negative affirmation of support.
Okay. I mean, there was, it was just an offer put out there. He's not expecting anything from it. It's just one of those things. Hey, I have a really nice place that isn't, it's not necessarily a freehold. It's not, it's it's a place you can relax.
Right. And you're from the Kingdom of Apples, and it's not Taranar. Taranar is like the seat of Cathay politics in Concordia. It's not really a place to hang out. So you can get easily swept up into some kind of political machinations that you probably don't want to. So this motley, Eden's on Harrier definitely takes you up on your offer. And it's composed of a puka, who has a raven that is like the raven is a real bird in the autumn realm, but it also has a chimerical, like almost like a Feymane. You might have seen some cases like this in the form of some kind of possession. There's this big tattoo-haired dude who's a troll, obviously. When he goes to the Crooked Feather, he introduces himself to you as Brock Grayson. The Puka introduces himself as Midnight. There's a red cap, dark-haired woman who introduces herself as Dez. And it's not it's not a kid thing. It's it's a good lane. It's a Nahani who introduces himself as Sky. And there's one more person. There's a clericon named Brian McKay, and he has a wheelchair. He's wheelchair
He's
bound.
bound.
Yeah.
He's bound to a wheelchair.
And the troll rolls him in to the Crooked Feather.
All right. He greets them all personally. Those in his retinue will then probably greet them individually. His retinue consists of a red cap, a much older Boggin. You kind of get the feeling of this was his tutor and mentor when he was a younger kid. Definitely kind of like an Alfred vibe off of him. And the other is a troll. I don't know if any of the commoners that were assigned to him under the new legislation would be there, but I do think that Jenny and Folkstag had agreed to sort of help him out and help him with this offering of helping to keep the firebrand safe while they moved within the Kingdom of Apples.
Yeah.
Granted, they're pretty much there, just at Taranar, but
yeah, I'll leave that completely up to you. If you want the extra Cathane there, they can be. But like if you don't want to bother with it, that's totally fine as well.
It's fine. It doesn't matter either way.
Yeah. So have them be there so you can have like an assembled court, so to speak.
Yeah, sort of.
All right, and the Aidens on here are they're out of the Los Angeles. I think the clericon, who goes by the name of Brian, quite plainly, kind of whistles from his chair. He's like, "Nice place here." He doesn't.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been working on it for quite some time.
It sure as hell beats the hell out of that castle. Have you ever been there?
Which castle are you talking about?
The High King Castle, Taranar.
I've actually never been to Taranar. Personally.
There's a lot of people there.
I would assume so.
Well, we just as soon prefer to stay out of the kingdom's business. While we're here, we lighten our balefires.
How does one get chosen for such a job?
It's a festival in the Kingdom of Apples. There's a kingdom-wide event, and we go through martial competitions, a trial of diplomacy, and an enigma trial.
Really?
Oh. What about you? How does that work in the Kingdom of Apples? Well, I guess it really doesn't matter because the Balefire is right here.
Right. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I've not been I've only just recently been saved, and then there was a family issue, and now I am under. Now I am serving under Baron Demavend while serving Sir Jarek.
Hmm. They kind of look at each other and they nod. And then the dark haired red cap, um, she smiles with those weird teeth. It's like just recently sane and more sense than the rest of your ilk.
What do you mean?
Well, um, Embolic happens the same time every year. You would think they would clear up this war situation before all the other kingdoms came to your doorstep.
To my knowledge, they didn't believe that war was possible, as there had already been a first one some years ago. They had thought that the Thalane were taken care of, for lack of a better term, and that the issue, at least to my knowledge, has only been a recent one that has exploded.
The Nahani, who had introduced himself as Sky previously, speaks up. Please excuse my sister. Her tongue is sometimes as sharp as her teeth.
I'll take no offense.
He smiles. But you offer us this protection. Is there some type of recompense you expect from the kingdom?
Honestly, no. I find it to be within my duties. I have space, and not everyone wishes to spend their days within a freehold of some baron who may or may not ask for recompense.
And it's quite so. Even in the fulfillment of our duties, sometimes we are pulled into politics most dire. But it is the least we could do for Her Majesty, Queen Erin.
Of course. I must envy you the duty.
She is quite magnificent, and it is an honor and a privilege. I'm sure you understand.
Of course. Yes, absolutely.
The troll kind of speaks up. How goes this war?
Well, recently I have myself taken part in sealing a dark trot off of the coast of Long Island. What we faced there was something different than I think I have ever experienced before. We had quite a large chimera, but it didn't seem like any other chimera that I encountered. And we worked with the Dreaming to shift it, to shift its location. Apart from that, the primary issue, it seems, stems from an argument concerning how we should treat the Thalane in our conflict with them.
Hmm.
No doubt you've heard the expression heads on spikes,
Indeed.
or probably have seen them around.
They are enemies most foul, but it seems as if some dark hatred consumes the heart of one of your generals.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure how I should feel. Not yet.
Hmm.
I've been taught throughout my entire fostering and some time after it that the Thalane are enemies of the dreaming itself.
Agreed that they are.
Yet they exist. At the same time, we should also probably strive to be better than they would treat us.
The troll nods at that. He seems to relax a little bit. It's almost as if he appreciates that intellectual argument, at least.
He nods. I will say this. For the time being, I have no ability to argue against it.
No. But he kind of nods, respecting the rank difference between he and you. Um, but I believe in Dan, the fate of our kind. You are where you're meant to be. Keep your eyes open and pay attention. It will serve you well in the future.
He nods, smiles. Of course.
Midnight, the puka just kind of looks at this exchange. Very Corvette-like, twitchy head motions. You said you're new. This is Midnight, the puka. How long have you been here?
In this area?
Yes.
Only a few months, to be honest. Well, it's not hard. It isn't hard to find it. The news of it isn't something that was kept hidden, least of all by the Flaming Falcons.
Hmm.
My parents were put on trial. It was deemed that they had, whether on purpose or inadvertently, they've been working with Thalane.
Again, that twitching head movement kind of looks at you with one eye, then the other, trying to take the measure of you to see if you're telling the truth or not.
I have no knowledge of this. I had no knowledge of it. I was questioned. I was put to cantrips to question, to ascertain my honesty, my innocence. In the end, it was decided that I would be separated from my parents. I would be taken from our barony in New Jersey, the barony of Liberty Gardens, and I would be placed the under the wing of Baron Demavend, and later under Sir Jared, both members of the Flaming Falcons.
The troll speaks up again. I've heard of this Sir Jarek. He is a fine and honorable warrior.
He is. I think what makes it easier for me is the fact that I can see Sir Jared tries. He doesn't just accept things. He doesn't just
The clericon, Brian, he kind of chuckles. It's like, I'm familiar with that. Try again, fail better.
It seems that is Sir Jared's modus operandi. Absolutely. He what's more, he's not enamored by his own position.
That is uncommon. All of our nobility exists within an intricate ranking structure, intricate hierarchy, each waiting for his precise time in which his efforts can serve our queen. It's a labor of love, but it's very much a house of cards.
One imbalance and the whole thing comes tumbling down. Yes. Tell me, in your kingdom, do you have the commoners, the common rights activists, as we do?
Oh, yes. Yes, they serve at the behest of our queen.
They serve your queen.
In a manner of speaking. She charges them to ensure that the commoners have no ills that fail to be redressed. Just between you and me, I believe she maneuvers them just as she maneuvers all of her nobility.
She nods. I would definitely assume so. One does not get a title such as hers without being able to use what they are given.
He nods.
I will say, I'm not entirely put off by their message.
Mm. The red cat, she smiles like she just swallowed a cat. What if I told you a secret about your common rights society here in the Kingdom of Apples?
Oh, really? You know such secrets?
Well, one at least. The other motley members, they kind of look between themselves nervously, but they know better than to try to stop her, it seems.
Go ahead.
Well, one of your common rights boyos contacted us already. There's apparently an underground railroad network that winds its way through Apples, and they offered some of those tries as a way to get us out of here without facing the Thelaine again, under the impression that that will stop the conscription of Cathane throughout throughout the nation of Concordia. They're more politically savvy than they are in our kingdom.
Where did this idea of conscription? Where did this idea of conscription come up?
I think it was. She kind of looks around. Milge. You know, Duke Willows. Well, he claims himself to be a king, but he's really a duke.
But why, though?
Whenever he starts moving pieces, you always want to be careful. The obvious isn't really what he's after.
These conscriptions, would they work for the entire would they work for the entirety of Concordia, or would they work for their separate kingdoms?
If there was a threat enough, such as the threat that the Bellfires will remain unlit, I think they could work. I think the rulers of the other kingdoms would agree to it. If there wasn't a plan B.
There's a plan B.
Technically. But when there's kings and queens in the mix, plan Bs, Cs, and Ds often are quickly exterminated. She kind of smiles.
And Aaron's just kind of thinking.
The Nahani Sky says, "We need not trouble you with such things. There is very little any of us can do in the face of such overwhelming political power. But I think we aim to try and secret ourselves away so that we won't become political pawns in this game of chess. As soon as we're able to light our bellfire, light our firebrand to carry to Pacifica."
And Aaron nods. Then I will be honest, it might be best for you to take up the Commonwealth Societies.
It would have been improper for us not to at least thank you for putting forth such noble efforts.
I only try.
That's all any of us can do.
You serve your kingdoms well. any who take up the title of Firebrand. And you deserve the respect for it. That much is clear.
I smile, particularly the clericon. He seems to be the most proud of this.
Then I suppose I will tell you a secret for a secret. As he looks over at the red cap.
She looks a little surprised, but she quickly tries to swallow it down.
Within this barony, there is a rule that commoners cannot go armed in the open. I have a recommendation for Baron Demavent. A suggestion. For a way that he may lift the ban. Not only for the benefit of himself, but for the benefit and for the comfort of the commoners of this barony within the Thaling conflict.
The troll nods. And again, the honey speaks up. Sky says, if you will permit me, I will leave you with a blessing of our kingdom.
He sort of raises both of his eyebrows. What do you mean?
The weapon that you use in your defense of this kingdom. Would you raise it? I would see you blessed with the spirits of my forefathers.
He just sort of starts for a second and takes a minute or a moment before getting up off of the chair, and it's a bit hurried because I mean he's still a squire, so his grip on decorum versus excitement is not as firm as it is in other people. And he will get his spear, not his family's weapon, but his spear that he is using. That is a deep green and bronze spear, and he just sort of holds it out.
And the honey takes his time braiding a long length of his hair. He plucks a feather from the crow that's on the puka's shoulder, and he'll twine the braid around the head of the spear, working into the crow's feather. My spiritual father is known as the Thunderbird, and I was interested when we first heard your missive and your wish for us to come here and meet with you. I'm glad that we indulged that curiosity, because it seems as if we found hope in a faraway land. It seems as if the kingdom of apples is not as corrupt and rotten as it may seem from so far away. This will work magics of the storm into the head of your spirit. Just pull free the braid, and your weapon will be enchanted with Skyfire.
You honor me, Sky. Thank you.
It is you that honor us today. All the other members of the motley stand, except for Brian, of course, who was in his wheelchair. And they will queue up to shake your hand. We will be taking up the Common Rights Society's offer to secret us away out of the Kingdom of Apples once we achieve the fire. Hopefully, we can avoid any conscription.
He nods. I believe that would be best for your safety and for your kingdoms.
But we could not have hoped for a more honorable person to meet in the Kingdom of Apples. I think it's easier to hate from a distance. It's harder to hate up close. You're a fine member of your house.
He nods again. I think your words are giving me courage enough to speak with Baron Demavend. I've been looking for an opportunity to bring him my proposal.
If we can offer any support, as distant as it may be, when we return to our kingdom, we would have earned several boons that might be of aid to you. Just send word to Eden's on Harrier. We're in Los Angeles. We will give you what support we can.
I believe the proposal I have is a good one. It involves something of a registration, which is a compromise between the outright freedom to bear arms and the Baron's ability to monitor those that have weaponry.
The troll nods at that. Seems to like that idea. It's a very elegant solution, he says.
I think so long as I have the opportunity to bend his ear long enough to speak on this proposal, then he will hopefully see sense.
How could he not? A willing warrior is worth 5 unwilling, at least.
And all should have the ability to defend themselves, regardless of rank or house.
The troll nods. As they finish queuing to give you your congratulations, then the honey will say, by your leave, Storm Spear.
You may come and go from my door as you wish.
They smile in a way that makes it seem like that's a real novelty.
I only wish I had more to offer.
They will all stand and leave. The troll will wheel Brian out of the cricket feather. Is there anything else you would like to do before we close out this scene?
No, there isn't really anything else I can think to do.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Actually, he will look at them
mhm.
Before they exit. By any chance, would any of you know how to light a new balefire?
Mhm.
The commoners, they whisper of the ability, of the desire to have their own place, their own um, place to belong in this barony.
Hmm. Um, the other changelings look to Sky, and Sky kind of frowns. The ways in which I have heard of creating a place of power such as this requires a long game. Requires infesting an area with incredible amounts of glamour through revelry and the arts and a particular type of emotion. Um, it could take decades, but I've seen it done in other places. Perhaps there are secrets that I have yet to find. There is an elder in Pacifica. I will seek out her knowledge and return whatever I hear to your ear.
He nods. Again, you have given me so much, and all I've been able to give you is a place to rest and a meal. Should the future bear me more fruit, and should you need of anything, please ask.
There's the weird Corvid-like twitching of the head as the Puka observes you. Very, really scrutinizing your facial features. The red cat smiles. Um, Everyone else bows as they turn and leave. Thank you. I think that's the moment we will end our scene. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Okay.
See you.